said, I left California back in '76. The music died with Jimi Hendrix. Things got crazy in San Francisco. But thumbing across the country, man, I thought I would freeze. So I followed Buffett to the Florida Keys, where I nearly got busted with a load of snow white cargo. Hey there friends, how's it going today? So I want to give you a tutorial on this song, Third Coast by Larry Joe Taylor. Nick, this one's going out to you. Thanks for the request. Thanks for your many years of membership on my website, and I wish you all the best. All right, so we're zoomed on in here. Capo 4th fret will let us play along with Larry Joe. We're going to do that. We're going to use all key of G chord shapes, right? Our G, our C, our D. Those are our major chords, right? The 1, 4, 5 in the key of G as far as the chord shapes go. We'll need an E minor and an A minor as well. Okay, so it's pretty standard fare for the chords. This is the main progression again, right? This 8-measure sequence is used in the verse and the chorus. You learn this, you have 80% of the song under your belt, right? But I want to start off really quick with this intro sequence. This is actually used after the choruses as well. This is going between G and C, but one thing I want to teach you here is what Larry Joe's doing is he is keeping his pinky down on the 3rd fret of the thinnest string, okay? So for the G and the C, your pinky is gonna stay still, right? Now technically, when you play a C, most folks don't teach it like this. Usually you leave the thinnest string open, but this is a nice little voicing to get familiar with. And again, it makes that transition a little bit easier, right? Now the strumming pattern you're gonna use throughout the song, but in the intro as well, is this down, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up. One little tip is on the last up strum of this sequence, right? Up, down, down, up, down, up. I'm switching the chords during that up strum. So I'm kind of strumming the open strings a lot of the time, and that's okay. That works really well in the key of G. It doesn't really muddy things up too much, but it makes things easier for you. It gives you an extra 8th note to change the chord. So check this out. Down, down, up, down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down, up. We're gonna keep doing this during the verse too, right? So keep that in mind with the intro. And one other little trick you can do with the intro is when you pluck it, notice how I'm not strumming all the strings, right? I'm doing the strum direction, down, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up. But I'm kind of starting at the bass note on my first strum of every chord, but I'm kind of sort of going to the thinner strings as the measure proceeds, right? Down, down, up, down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down, up, 1, 2, and 3, and 4. And that's a cool little trick you can do to kind of make this note ring out on the and count just after the 2 and just before the 3. So anyway, the G and the C is a good way to get into the vibe and the flavor of things. And then we move into this verse and chorus progression here, right? So this is going to be going between a G, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, 3, 4, A minor, to E minor, then back to G for 2 measures, and then we're going to go to D for 2 measures, okay? Later on, I'm going to show you some walkdowns you can do on this D, but that repeats, right? I left California back in '76. The music died with Jimi Hendrix, and things got crazy in San Francisco. And that's literally what you're going to use, again, for 80-90% of the song, is that sequence. If you're new to this song and to these chords and you're having trouble with them, what I would do is simplify the strumming pattern, right? You could do a strum on the 1 and the 3 count, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. This is a nice way to sort of simplify things, no up strums, kind of nice and uniform strumming, okay? Use whatever you need to get through it, whether you do a simple strumming pattern, you could just do a single strum of each chord, or something like I just showed you where you're doing a strum on the 1 and the 3. Let's get into some of these walkdowns though. This is one of the funnest parts of this song, is these 2 measures of D, right? There's 3 different walkdowns you could do here that I have written up in my practice notes, which I recommend, again, getting, right? Check them out. nicely formatted for you. I actually have these same walkdowns in a separate lesson called Strummy Walkdowns in the key of G. You can use these in any song in the key of G whenever you're going from your D chord or your D7 back to a G, which is going to happen quite a bit because in the key of G, D is what's called our dominant chord, our 5 chord. And the 5 chord, the dominant chord, always has the best sounding resolve when it goes back to the tonic, to the 1, to the chord that matches whatever key we're in. And we're in the key of G here, so that's going to be our friend. The first walk down you can do is this one that's a bit drawn out over 2 measures, right? So you're going to go... Okay? The circled notes here represent the sort of bass notes we want to emphasize, okay? This is a good one to use in the chorus, but I like this one also because it's a bit slower. You have more time, right? 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and then you go back to the G. And practice this in a loop, right? 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time, just to show you the sort of vibe. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, finger positions on this one are a bit tricky. Check this out. You're going to start off, open 4th string, strum the thinnest strings for your D. This is the most sort of familiar it's going to get. Then it gets a little bit weird. You have to take your middle finger off that thinnest string and move it to the 3rd fret of the 5th string. And then you're going to strum just the maybe strings 2, 3, and 4. It's okay if you get the thinnest string, right? It's not a big deal. 3rd, open, 2nd, 3rd, and then if you happen to get that thinnest string open, not a big deal, right? But I tend to avoid it. After this one, you're going to have to get this finger to the 2nd fret of the 5th string, right? But then you have to move this finger where that one just came from. So it's a little dance you're doing, where this finger is going to go where this one is, and then that one's going to go there. So this is a tricky thing to learn at first. But the good part is once you get that, the next one's easy. You just take off your index finger and leave these the same. So again. And you always end on a G there, okay? So in context, that would sound like this. Let me pull up a good juicy verse here. Let's see here. So, Seaport Boulevard, it was a blessing to me. It gave me a chance to go back to the sea. And I thank God every morning when I wake up and I'm still here. You see, if you ain't sinking, you better be swimming. Right, that's the idea, right? So that's one you can do. Let's look at some other ones, though. There's 2 more you can do. The first walk down, the second walk down you can do looks like this. You're gonna strum a regular D for 1 measure, and on the 2nd measure of D, you're gonna go. Here it is again. D for 1 measure, normal, and then. Right? Let's do it one more time. To the D. Okay, what about this one? What's going on here? Number 1, like I said, the walk down is happening not with the bass notes. It's happening on these thinner strings, right? And it's all happening on upstrums. Okay, so you might hear the term syncopation, right? The syncopation refers to things that are happening on the off beat, right? Usually the down strums happen on the strong beat and up strums happen sort of in between the strong beats. So I think of this as a syncopated walk down. The way I would think about it as well is on your down strums, you kind of want to just brush the middle 2 strings, the 3rd and 4th string, with your sort of index finger is going to stay there, right? But here's the tricky part. Now you notice hopefully what I did there. I have to switch to this position. This is almost like if you know your D7 chord, right? 2nd, 1st, 2nd. You really want to focus on these 2 fingers. These 2 fingers have to go here. Index finger on the 1st fret of the 2nd string, and then the middle finger on the second fret of the third string, right? So then you're gonna go to your G, okay? I think that's a good thing to practice. When I'm doing this, by the way, I'm muting that fifth string. So I'm playing the thickest five strings, but I'm just sort of leaning this finger into that fifth string to mute the sound. That way you don't have to push it down. It makes it easier to play, right? So that one in full, right, is... Let me do it one more time. That was a little bit sloppy. Here it goes. Okay, that's a good one to use as your default walk down. So the third walk down is the trickiest one. Let me show it to you really quick. This one is gonna take a bit more practice. See my other lesson on strummy walk downs in the key of G for some guidance here. But the tab looks like this. One more time. I do a regular measure of D. Then I go back to my G, okay? Let's do it one more time to the D. So what's going on here? The way to think about this is if you look at the tab, if you imagine, see how it says 7 and 7? Right, this is relative to the capo. Capo is fret 0. 7 and 7, 5 and 5, 4 and 3, 2 and 1. The way to think about this is these are called sixths or harmonized sixths. There's two different shapes. It's this second string and fourth string, okay? Same fret. We go to the fifth fret, we do the same thing, okay? Middle finger, ring finger. And then for fourth and third, your middle stays on the fourth string, but you're gonna use your index finger here. Okay, so this is one shape, and this is one shape, okay? I'm plucking with the bass string with my pick and using my finger to pick the second string. This is tricky. You could just strum them all together as long as you mute the third string. Really tricky to do, but in context. Really tricky to get the hang of that. And you're gonna notice is playing the bass note first, and then playing the second string note. And that's a little hack to simplify things. The main idea is you're buying yourself some time. By sliding up, you give yourself a moment to get that finger there. Okay? Okay, so that's a trickier one to do. It works kind of better as an accompaniment. It's hard to do by yourself seamlessly, but it is a good one to practice. So that's the main idea. You have the main chord progression, you have the strumming tips, and you have some walk downs to do there. Now there are a few modifications to things. For example, at the end of every chorus, he's going to, instead of going on G, G, and then D and D, he's going to go from G to A minor to D, and then back to G. Okay, that's how every chorus ends, right? But all in all, I'm doing pretty good since I hit my third coast. So that's how every chorus ends, but otherwise it's gonna use that main progression for the first part of the chorus. Now there is a bridge really quick, right? The bridge is gonna be C, D, G, C, right? You gotta stand up, boy, if you wanna make ends meet, and then to G2 smart, C on your knees, right? A minor, listen for the ring. A minor again if you wanna answer the call. Let's do it again, right? Bridge. C, 2, 3, 4, D, 2, 3, 4, G, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, 3, 4, A minor again, and then to D, and we can walk it down if we want. You see, if you ain't laughing, then you're skipping. I'm making up weird lyrics here. So that's all you need for the entire song. I'll put a full playthrough on my lesson webpage, as well as a link to get my practice notes. Check these out if you want to get them. And they have the walkdowns tabbed out as well. And I have a link to the lyric sheet with all the chords as well. So good stuff with this one. I hope you all found this helpful. And I also recommend checking out my lesson on strumming walkdowns in the key of G. It focuses on the ones used in this lesson, but it kind of goes in bigger detail with some stuff and shows you a few more ways to practice them. And I also have many other strummy walkdowns in different keys that you can play to match with whatever you're doing. And one other thing I'll put over on my website as a quick separate lesson is how to play this song in the key of C. No capo, you just tune down a half step. It changes the chords, but I've seen Larry Joe Taylor play it like that in some of his live videos. So I want to cover all the bases here. So between that extra video, a full playthrough video on my website, my practice notes, and then all my other lessons, there's a lot of good stuff over on my Song Notes website. So I hope this is helpful for all y'all. Nick, thanks for requesting this one, and everyone else, take care, and I'll see you in the next one, my friends. Bye-bye.